When we speak of life beyond Earth, what we generally mean is, of course, intelligent life, something resembling our noble selves. It is highly probable that there are such intelligent forms of life in other galaxies in the universe. And it is even more probable that many of these forms are vastly more intelligent than we.
It seems to me that we do have good reason for thinking that the universe is not necessarily existent. Namely, we've seen that one of the properties of a necessary being is that that being must exist eternally. It cannot come into existence. It must always exist. And I think that we have good evidence now in modern astronomy and astrophysics to show that the universe began to exist.
Each passing year has seen our estimate of the probability of life in space increase, along with our capabilities of detecting it. More and more scientists feel that contact with other civilizations is no longer something beyond our dreams, but is a natural event in the history of mankind that will perhaps occur within the lifetime of many of us. The promise is now too great, either to turn away from it or to wait much longer before devoting major resources to a search for other intelligent beings. In the long run, this may be one of science's most important and most profound contributions to mankind and to our civilization. The number of stars in our galaxy alone is so staggeringly large, in the order of 10 to the 11 or more. The probability of stars having planetary systems is so high, we think perhaps half. The probability that those planetary systems might be comparable with our own, and that the stars have some kind of an ecosphere, a sphere in which the radiation is suitable for life, that it's not too hot, not too cold, meeting the other criteria, seems so reasonable. These bits of information have come from astronomy primarily. Then we join with the biochemists who tell us about the probable evolution of life here on Earth, the kinds of elements that are necessary for it, DNA molecules, amino acids and the like. Amino acids which have now been found in meteorites, that we have now found interstellar molecules floating out in the space between stars, so that you know the materials for a carbon-based life exist. We know that many of the building blocks of life in our own solar system exist off of our planet. If you put these kinds of probabilities together, it begins to lead to the sorts of conclusions that we started with as an initial premise. And that is that life must exist in the universe, and it must exist quite abundantly.
The first question, which should rightly be asked, is this: why is there something rather than nothing? Now think about that question for a second. Why does anything at all exist instead of just nothing? Why does the universe, or matter and energy, or space and time exist instead of just nothingness?
I think there's no question but that we live in an inhabited universe that has life all over it. I was sort of interested in Carl Sagan's saying there were 250 billion stars like our sun in our galaxy. And as for our own galaxy, it's estimated that perhaps 1 to 5% of the stars in it would provide on their planets, some of their planets, enough for life. And that would mean billion such places just in our own galaxy that might contain life. And as for what life would mean in those places, I think it would mean something very like the life we know. Not the same creatures. We didn't have the same creatures on the earth during its past as live here now. But life anywhere in the universe, I've been convinced for years, must be made of the same elements that principally constitute it here. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. Those four elements constitute about 99% of living material on the Earth, and I think are likely to come out that way wherever life exists, life exists, life exists, life exists, life exists, life exists, life exists.
Shall